guys, welcome to the Black Sheep Meadow. I'm Amber.
And I'm Brent.
And today's kind of a maintenance day, planting day, unexpected, trying to make things work day. My seed starts that I started, I had them started with an intent of planting them sometime in April. Well, we are in March and the weather is beautiful and we are missing out on growing time. So we went ahead and purchased some store-bought tomatoes and peppers. Tried to stay with varieties that I'm not starting because those plants will still be fine. We can still plant them. It's just going to be a little bit later.
They're about 3 weeks out still.
Yeah, and we're losing this growing season, and we want to take full advantage of it because we're trying to grow 80% of our own food this year.
I was going to say, to get them up to date, if you're new to our channel, for the year 2023, me and Amber are attempting to grow 80% of all of our own food. That's our beef, pork, chicken, fruits, vegetables, etc. on down the line.
Everything that you would consume. So we're back here in this favorite part of my garden. If you've seen any of our other videos, I've mentioned this part of my garden, our garden, numerous times. I love this little cove. It's where I plant my peppers and a lot of our tomatoes. The peppers love it in this corner.
Some of our tomatoes this year, we drastically increased our tomato production this year.
Yes, the tomatoes aren't all going to fit here. If you can see the tower behind me, the tower was not a very good thought out by me. I liked the idea of something in the center of my little corner here. Strawberries is not what needs to go here. Strawberries and tomatoes and peppers do not get along with each other when we talk about companion planting, which we're really trying to do a lot more of this year. So I need to move that. Brent's gonna finish weed eating. We're going to rearrange some stuff back here, add some more.
The original idea with the tower in this area is it filled the center void in the middle of this little cubby or the corner back here. So I think whenever we move the strawberry tower out, I'm probably going to put 4 or 5 more cattle tubs in the middle. I don't know if I'm going to do it in a square or in a line, but that's going to give us a lot more growing space because we have a lot of plants.
We have a lot more plants too.
So not only do we have all the seed starts, we've got the plants that we purchased today.
We purchased some today, and we went a little, there was a bunch of different varieties that I hadn't seen recently. A bunch of varieties that I didn't have seeds for.
Well, we actually we purchased a bunch of hybrid tomatoes where we started a bunch of heirloom tomatoes.
Right. So we don't normally do a lot of hybrids. We normally try to stick with the heirlooms. But sometimes they're just cool tomatoes or cool plant varieties that you just want to try.
I've got some really special cherry tomatoes that I grew last year that are I
never got to harvest any of the cherry tomatoes because he would just eat them
as fast as I could pull them off the bush.
Every night. That was his snack, is he would come over to the bush and eat all the cherry tomatoes. So I never really got to harvest them. So hopefully this year we'll plant a couple extras so that maybe I'll actually be able to harvest some. But we're going to take you along as we plant some of our plants, rearrange some of our garden, decide what we're going to do as far as adding more containers back here and the water. And it's a beautiful day. We got to spend it in the community this morning.
Yeah, we did a little community event this morning with the Texas Ranger Day in Burton, Texas.
And we got to do fajita and bean judging. We were judges for the cook-off, which was really exciting to try a bunch of different fajitas and beans. Some really, really good, some really not so good. But it was all fun. It was a really, really fun day. Before
we get started, I just want to take a note, too, that you can see a lot of our container, the black tubs around the outside perimeter of our little cubby garden back here. They were all fine, but as I was weed eating this area of the tall grass, I wanted to stop around the tower because I did not want to inflect seeds off the weed eater into that tower. So like I said, a lot of the containers were tall enough, but the garden tower has very low shelves or steps, I guess you'd call it, on it. And I did not want to inflict a bunch of weeds onto our strawberry tower. Which is a pretty good process if you're doing maintenance like that at your, near your garden, where you're weed eating or spraying or where the debris from stuff like that will transplant over. Because it will be a weed later on.
Speaking of transplants, I'm going to take you guys in on something that's almost annoying but kind of exciting. So last year we bought or were given or collected a bunch of pumpkins after season, and we gave them to the chickens. I did a video on that. The chickens absolutely loved it. Where we cut up the pumpkins, we now have pumpkins growing just in the middle of the yard, and they look amazing. So I think
they haven't been watered or fertilized or anything.
No, it's in just raw, just dirt. It's just in the ground in the middle of the yard, and they're growing and they look amazing. I'm actually going to take a tomato cage and set it over the top so we don't accidentally mow it over, and just see if we actually get a pumpkin from it.
We'll see where they end up.
I mean, but it just kind of like we do all of this work to produce something when this seed that just got thrown on the ground and stepped on probably 1,000 times is growing beautifully. So we take things a little bit too serious sometimes, I think. So this is just Mother Nature reminding us that it will find a way one way or another, or it won't.
Y'all follow along. We're gonna get these
We're gonna catch you
our
along.
corner fixed up, and then we're gonna get y'all maybe in on some tomato planting.
Yep.
So follow along.
Okay, so we got the strawberry tower moved over here. I think this is actually going to be a better place for it anyway. I think it's going to get better sunshine. It's far enough away from tomatoes, peppers, anything that they don't really care for. Next year, I probably will not order my strawberries online. I'm going to probably try to pick them up local because the online dictates when they're going to ship them to you, and they're not scheduled to ship until next week or the following week. But as soon as they come in, I'll take you guys through how we should plant those. Hey guys, here was what I was talking about with the pumpkins. Brent's back here resetting up the irrigation for the containers we're planting the tomatoes and the peppers. But check them out. These are like beautiful pumpkin plants that have popped up, and I'm gonna put some tomato cages around them and see. I'm gonna pull some of these weeds that have grown up too. And see if we can't actually harvest a pumpkin off of this. That would just be amazing, but look at them. I think they're taunting the girls. Okay guys, I was gonna get you in here as I'm planting the tomatoes. Brent's behind me building more buckets, so you might see him coming back in. On planting tomatoes, these are a yellow pear, which I thought looked kind of cool. Tips on planting tomatoes. When you look at a tomato, you see how this one is already kind of dead, so we're just going to take that one off. You want to plant your tomato really deep. All these little white hairs at the base of your tomato, those will turn into really good roots for the tomato plant. So you're going to want to plant it pretty deep, but you do not want any of the leaves touching the dirt. So I'm going to probably plant this one about this deep, but I don't want this one because it's too close. So I'm going to pinch that one off with my fingernail, and I'm going to plant it about this deep into the soil, so that all this will also turn into roots for it, and it'll grow from there. So pretty simple. Hi, baby girl. There we go. I'm gonna finish that. We're running out of daylight. I don't know if Brent's gonna come back in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys thank you for hanging out with us. Do all the things, and until then, we will see you next time.